Thank you.
Thank you.
No, that's okay. Should we start now?
Yep, you all go.
Darleena has started recording. Thank you. So welcome to our Community Board meeting today, the 25th of August. And I'm going to ask Janine to start with the karakia.
Kia ora tātou, tō tātou nei karakia mo te ahi nei, whakataka te hau ki te uru, whakataka te hau ki te tonga, kia mā kina ki uta, kia mā taratara ki tai, kia I aki ana te atakura, he tio, he huka, he hauhu, si hei mauri ora.
Kia ora. Thank you, Janine. And first of all, I'll just introduce everyone who's at the meeting. Today we have Joanne Peacock, Dianne Lance, Janine Maruera, Vanessa, Robert Northcott, Liam Dagg, Doug Rosewarne, Marianne Archibald, Mia Phil Nixon, Gordon Campbell, Becky Wolland, Maria Ferris, and Darleena. And hopefully I've got everyone there. Is that everyone? Hopefully I haven't missed you. So welcome to the meeting, and I'm starting by calling for apologies. Is that correct, Vanessa? Do we have any apologies today?
No apologies have been noted through the chief.
So we'll now move straight into our open forum. And if it's okay, I think I'll ask Doug Rosewarne to talk first of all. Is that okay, Doug? Are you happy to speak to your funding application?
Yes, I will. My name's Doug Rosewarne. I'm the coordinator of Waverley Community Patrol. I'll just give you a brief. We're trying to extend our patrols to cover more of our area because a lot of our problems now are going away into rural areas, not altogether in town like they used to be. And we've got quite a big area we cover from the Winakura River to Maxwell, including all the side roads. Plus our uniforms are getting expensive, and we've got new people. We've just recruited 2 new people, so we've got to buy uniforms for them, which is $500 each. Also, there's just general running costs of the car, and if we get funding like this, it saves us sitting for hours on the street doing raffles. We do like doing raffles occasionally because it gives us access to the public, and yes, that's about all I've got to say. If any one of you have got questions.
Yeah, Doug, those uniforms, $500 a piece, that seems pretty ridiculously expensive, to be fair.
Yeah. Yes, they are, and we're stuck. We can only get them through community patrols. We can't get them anywhere else.
And are they mandatory for your members?
Yes, they are.
Okay. Maria Ferris.
Hi.
Hey, do you still get quite good support from the business community? Are they still providing some sort of funds along the way as well?
Yes, it's not a huge amount. We probably we've got funding from the wind farm in the past. Some of them do service, like the car is serviced at our local garage. There's little things like that, and 1 or 2 of them give us small donations each year, like $100 or $200. But yeah, it's getting expensive and to actually run the patrol.
Cool, thank you.
Jacq Dwyer, I'll just ask Doug, how many members have you got on the community patrol there in Waverley now?
With the 2 new ones on, we'll have I think 14.
Oh. And that's quite enough, is it?
Yeah, yes, it allows us to do, well, in the summertime we do 6 days a week patrolling, in the winter time it comes back. We've actually been doing a few more lately this winter because of a few problems around town. We average about 13 or 1400 Ks a month.
Okay, another question from me, Doug. With your car, was it donated to the community patrol or did you have to buy that car? And do they give you a subsidy on your maintenance?
We don't get any subsidy on the maintenance. We had to raise the funds to buy it ourselves.
Okay.
Trust Bank supported us quite big in that when we bought the car.
Okay. Any other questions from the committee here?
Dianne Lance. Doug, the stationery, you've got stationery down for $1,500. Does that entail advertising or what does that include?
Mostly printer ink and things like your paper and this replacing printers and things like that, because we do a lot of ours is done by paperwork.
Right.
They haven't gone digital yet, and we've actually got to keep a record of everything on paperwork for 7 years.
Thank you.
I'll just add
Ferris.
one more. Oh, yes, Marie.
Oh. I just wanted to know, with all your paperwork and your reporting, Doug, you report to the police. How do you do that? Just verbally, or is there like a formal paper report that goes to them?
I have a meeting with our policeman when we've got one here once a week, sometimes twice a week. Like we've had 2 pretty good policemen here lately, and they're very supportive of us.
Cool. So, do you think in the future there'd be any possibility of flicking us a report, whether it's just giving it to one of us to read at the meetings, or because I know it wouldn't be possible for someone to come all the time, but we would be happy to read that out for you if you want, if you could.
Yeah, I probably could attend most of them. One or two of us could attend most of your meetings anyhow. We were just actually talking about that at our last meeting. We should make an effort to be there.
Cool, much appreciated. Thank you. That's all from me.
Yes, I would love that too, actually, Doug. I was talking to Mike Clarkson from the Pātea Community Patrol, and when Ellen was there, we used to get regular reports from them, and we found it quite good because it's minuted. It goes in the newspaper, and people always like to just see what issues the towns are having. So if you could do that, that would be great for us as a community board. Thank you. Thanks very much. Any other questions from anyone here?
Kia ora, Darleena here, through the chair. I have Mr. Clarkson from the Pātea Community Patrols online that would like to actually dial through. Are you happy for me to push him through? He's just rung and I've got his details, so.
I think that would be fine. I think he possibly wants to just give us a report about the Pātea Patrol, because I asked if he could. I didn't expect him to ring today though.
So I have him on the line. If you're more than happy for me to let him join the meeting, I will push the details through.
I think that'll be fine. And then Doug, if you're happy with, you finished what you needed to say, is that okay?
Yep.
You want to add anything else?
Yeah.
So we'll just move on to Mike, and I think Mike is just going to give us a report about the Pātea Community Patrol. Thanks so much, Doug. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys for the opportunity.
Great. I appreciate that. So what we'll do is we'll talk next to Mike Clarkson, and then we'll move on to our next person on the open forum. Hopefully he'll join us soon. And I think the next person on the open forum will be you, Marianne, or actually maybe Becky. We'll go for Becky next if Becky's ready to Mike. How's it going, Darleena?
Through you, the Chair, you might like to continue until I have him online to send it through, if you wouldn't mind.
Okay, but Darleena, yes. Should we go on to Becky? Are you ready to talk to us, Becky, about the representation review?
Yep, sure. Kia ora, everybody. I just apologise for keeping my screen off. It's just my internet's not the greatest here. So I've just, I'll keep it off so that I pull out. I'm just going to share my screen with you. So can I confirm that you can see that this afternoon? You see my presentation sitting up there? Yep.
Yes.
Yes, all good. Becky.
Yes, good. Yeah.
Rightio. So as a few of you may be aware, the council made their decision a couple of weeks ago in terms of their initial proposal for formal consultation. And the option that they selected was to have the full council would have 13 councillors plus the mayor. There would be 11 general ward councillors and 2 Māori ward councillors. So effectively that gives us an additional councillor compared to the current representation. So at the moment we have 12 plus the mayor. So the proposal that the council has adopted would give us 13 councillors plus the mayor. So for Māori wards, this will mean that we have 2 Māori wards with 1 councillor per ward. At the moment, we've got the East and West wards. However, we are names, suggested names. As part of that, the names will be adopted as part of the final decision on the 11th of October. So it's important that we get some suggestions for those names prior to that. And for the Māori wards, the boundary is predominantly along the State Highway 3, with Eltham, Normanby and Te Hawara being split in half. So I'll just bring up a map for you. It's not 100% clear. It would have been nicer to be able to present to you in person, but this is how we're doing it today. So you can see there, that's the boundary. So that boundary was agreed to by Ngāti Ranui and Ngāruaheini. We got them together and that's what they have agreed to, and that's also what the council adopted. So for the general ward councillors, we'll have 11 general ward councillors from 4 wards. So 2 from Eltham Kaponga, 2 from Pātea, 2 from Taranaki Coastal and 5 from Te Hawara. So for the Pātea Community Board and for the Pātea Ward, we're not proposing any boundary changes, and at this stage the council aren't proposing any difference in terms of elected representatives. You'll still have 2 councillors and 4 community board members. And you can see there, this is one of the maps that we're using as part of our formal consultation. So when people can clearly see how many elected representatives are for each of the boards. So community boards, the council have resolved to retain, they will have the same boundaries as proposed for the general wards. So we received a lot of feedback from the pre-consultation that we undertook, and there was a resounding amount of support for the community boards. So consultation up until 20, so consultation is open now, scheduled for the 29th of September, and deliberations and the final decision will be made on the 11th of October. Following that decision, we have to have a section period between the 14th of October and 26th of November. At the moment, the proposal that we're looking at is uncompliant. So when I say it's uncompliant in regards to the regulations or the legislative requirements under the Local Electoral Act. The council decided to go ahead and adopt this proposal based on the fact that the submissions or the feedback that we received through pre-consultation supported 12 to 13 councillors. and supported the representation in those areas. Finally, I'd really encourage you to give us your feedback. We received a submission or a feedback from the Pātea Community Board through the informal process, but I'd highly recommend each of the boards submitting their feedback, even if it's just in support of the community boards. And following this meeting, I will send you out all the information on the representation review. I will send you out submission forms and things like that, and links to online surveys. So you can do the online survey, email us. Once we're back in level 2, hard copies can be delivered to those sites listed there, and people can ring us on the 0800 number. So feel free to send the email out and let people know, and encourage them to submit also. So that was all my update there, and if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Thank you, Becky. That's well explained. Great presentation. And yes, we'll certainly do that submission. Thank you. Does anyone else have anything they wanted to say? In that case, I'll move on. Thanks so much, Becky, for that.
Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your meeting.
Thank you. Thanks for coming. Wonderful. So now we have Mike Clarkson. You've joined us. Thanks, Mike. Did you want to give us a report about the Pātea Community Patrol? You have to unmute yourself.
Yeah, it just takes a while for it to react. Yeah. Hi, g'day everybody. Hi, Pātea Community Patrol. Yes, it's been a while since we reported to you. There's been quite a few things happening in the area. We've been stood down by CPNZ over the COVID level that we're in. So we're to patrol at level 4. In fact, we're not permitted to patrol until we're at level 2. And even then with certain conditions. But just a general report on activities around the Pātea region is especially in Pātea itself, as Doug will probably tell you more about what happens in Waverley. There's been 2 vehicles go missing from out in Whenua. Sorry, I'm thinking of another area. And there's been a minimum of 3 burglaries, or at least household intrusions in the area of late. There have been other trespass intruder activity going on, mainly during the holiday period, more like miscreant behaviour. And there was also a fire lit at the youth club, which fortunately an observant member of the community saw what on earth was going on and reacted rather quickly and was able to snuff it out before any serious damage got done. Damage is damage, either way. And along with that, there seems to be a general sort of tension in the air as there's been noticeable language issues out on the street, along with aggressive behaviour, etc. I think really the main thing that the Community Patrol would put forward on that is follow the government's lead. Be kind to each other. We don't need it in our community, and it's a whole lot better place without it. So you know, we do have concerns about people's security, etc., in town. And I know that many times the board has looked at issues to do with security cameras and everything else. And one of the things that we would like to pursue is the knowledge of whereabouts all the cameras are currently, in order to aid our police colleagues in tracking down certain behaviours in the place. And last but not least, the thing that the community patrol actually has to ask of the Pātea Community Board is who issues the social contracts? Because we're seriously looking at writing a constitution as opposed to the Community Patrols New Zealand, and we would like to know whereabouts our reference can come from within the community in order to carry on and pursue our activities. Yep.
Thanks, Mike.
And that's something I'd like you guys to think about and maybe come back to.
Thanks, Mike. I'm not sure about an answer for that, actually. Can anyone here help me, Mike, with that? Who would help him with the Constitution?
No, sorry, Jacq. Phil Nixon here. Sorry, I'm not sure either, Mike, where that would come from. But look, leave it with us, and we will have it recorded. Vanessa will have it recorded, so we'll be able to get back to you on that one.
Yeah. My main reason for asking is to do with the we have to do with CPNZ reporting, and we'd like to believe that we are more community orientated. In other words, reporting to you guys as to exactly what on earth is happening and what on earth we see is happening, along with helping our colleagues in the police force in order to in various regulations, etc., that are laid out. So yeah, we'd just like to be able to do things right.
Okay, and also your other question about the cameras in town, do you mean that you don't know where the cameras are in Pātea?
Correct. We have an idea where a few are, but there must be a whole lot more than what on earth we think.
Can someone help with that one?
Through the
Rob?
chair, it's Marianne speaking. I can go back and check that. The police will know where the cameras are usually. So they should be able to tell you as well where any cameras are that they can access. But I can also go back and check.
Yeah. They're also not allowed to tell us a lot of things.
That may be your answer, Mike, that something that you can't look at anyway. Marianne will get back to us anyway.
Yeah, that's great.
Thanks.
That's cool.
Thanks.
Look forward to the next meeting. Yeah.
Yes. Oh no, thanks for coming along. Appreciate that. So now we'll move on to our next open forum. And I think, Marianne, are you going to talk to us today?
Yes, but I'm in the meeting. I'm just talking to you about the acquisitions and disposals policy, the report. So I'm happy to wait.
So that's late.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you got anyone else in open forum, Vanessa?
Through the chat. No, that's everybody.
That is everyone. I've got an yes. Oh, good. Thank you. So what we'll do now is we'll move on to our normal meeting. And Doug and Mike, you can stay if you wish, but if you wish, you can go. And thanks so much for being here and talking to us today. We'll see you next time. Thank you. So now we'll move on to the minutes from the last meeting, which was the 14th of July. And just have a quick look through those. But I'll just call that those minutes be accepted.
Maria Ferris.
Thank you, Maria.
Just item 4.1, I note that it says the Innovating Streets pilot project had been completed in Pātea. I wonder if that meant to read had been completed in Waverley?
What was it,
4.1 under information reports, community development activity report. On my laptop it says page 5, but I don't know if that's, oh yeah, it does look like it's on page 5 or...
Through the chair, that's right. It should say Waverley. We will amend that.
Good spotting, Maria. Any other discussion with the minutes before I ask for somebody to second those? So I'll move that the minutes be accepted, and I'll call for somebody to second that.
Dianne Lance, I'll second it.
Thanks, Dianne. All in favour say aye.
Aye.
Again.
Aye.
Against, carried. Is that okay, Vanessa? I don't know how well we did that, but...
Through the chair, if you can just ask people individually if they are for. Thank you.
I'll just ask you all again. Can you all individually just say aye?
Dianne Lance, aye.
Bob Northcott, aye.
Maria Ferris, aye.
Joanne Peacock, aye.
Thank you. Carried. Okay, so now we'll move on to the report from Christina Wells. Am I on the right page here? Oh no, we have to do our discretionary funding applications, don't we? So if we can just have a quick discussion about those, and of course, excuse me. And we first of all have Doug Rosewarne, and his application from the Waverley Community Patrol.
Maria Ferris.
Thank you, Maria.
Can I start the discussion by thinking about, rather than a full amount that's not specific to any items, that we think about if we're going to grant any funding, that they are specifics just for accountability purposes, so it's easier to track perhaps? For example, saying we would fund the mobile phone, the insurance of the vehicle, and possibly the rent of the room at Abbotsford. So it's a specific amount rather than just the ballpark figure that's in there.
I think that's a good idea. Then we can actually get accountability back that has been achieved.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, through the chair, I agree with it too. So
Maria Ferris. So if we look at the amounts that they've got there, and if I start with rent of room at Abbotsford is $420. Use the mobile phone is $200. So that takes us to $620. Insurance of the vehicle is $419.75. So
1,039.
yeah, so that's my starting point. If anyone would like to add anything else.
Just adding that up, but I think that's a good idea.
So Dianne Lance, through the chair, that is $1,039.75. So I'm happy with that. If everybody else is agreeable.
Through the chair, have we it hasn't actually been moved and seconded as yet. Before you can vote, you need to have that forward.
Yeah.
So shall I move that be accepted? That we allocate $1,039.75. Is that correct, Vanessa?
Yeah, just specify what they're for, Jack.
Oh, yes, okay. So it's for the telephone, the rental of the building of Abbotsford, and the insurance. Have I got those things correct?
Yeah.
So $420, $200, and $419.75.
Correct.
So I'll move that be accepted. I ask somebody to second that.
Maria Ferris will second that.
All in favour say aye.
Dianne Lance, aye.
Rob Northcott, aye.
Joanne Peacock, aye.
Maria Ferris, aye.
And Jacq Dwyer, aye. Thank you. Our next funding application is from the Pātea Community Board, and it's for, sorry, I'm just finding it here. It's for a installation of a directional signpost at the Pātea Beach, and we have actually, the full amount of that directional sign is $3,030. Can we have some discussion about that?
Yeah, Rob Northcott. Yeah, I mean, this has been in the pipeline for several years now, since 2016, I believe. Jacq, is that right? And we had $1,500 that was committed to that project that has disappeared along the way, and with inflation and added costs and everything, it's now crept up a little bit. Be nice just to get this signed off, so I'm in agreement to fund the whole amount and get it done. Cheers.
Thank you.
Yeah, I move
For the full amount. Wonderful. Yeah. And just to clarify, we have the signposters ready to be commissioned now, and we have full support from local iwi. It's going to be English on one side and Māori on the other side, and it's going to have 12 different points of interest that will show off the lookout at Pātea, and of course it will have the windmills as its backdrop. So it will be great to get this project finished. So I will move that we fund the full amount of the project, which is $3,030. And can I ask you individually just to accept that? To set someone.
Sorry, through the chair, Mr. Northcott has already put forward the motion. We just need someone to second, and then we can vote.
Can I ask for someone to second that? Thank you.
Dianne Lance, I'll second it.
All in favour say aye individually.
Maria Ferris, aye.
Dianne Lance, aye.
Joanne Peacock, aye.
Jacq Dwyer, aye. Very good. Thank you. So the third funding application is for a timber seat for the whalebone sculpture. It's going to be a fixed seat, and the amount that they've asked for that is $500. from what I understand, the rest of it is actually coming from a arts grant. So it's not a large amount, and I think that we've had discussion about this, and this seat will be so good to get it reinstated since the swinging seat has been gone for quite a few months now. So can I ask for any discussion on that?
Dianne Lance, can you remind me who is making the seat? Is somebody building the seat?
Yes, Mike Cole is building it.
Right. And it's obviously a timber replacement, is it?
Yes, it's quite a big seat. It can seat up to 5 people, I think. It's like a big slab of macrocarpa.
Okay, thank you.
So do we all feel happy about granting the amount of $500?
Through Chair Joanne Peacock, I move that we fund the full 500 for the seat to be installed.
Maria Ferris, I can second that motion.
Thank you. All in favour say aye individually. Jacq, Dwyer,
aye.
Rob Northcott, aye.
Maria Ferris, aye.
Joanne Peacock, aye.
Wonderful. Thank you. So now we'll move on to the first information report. Can you help me with what page I should be on? Oh, here we go. Is that correct? And it's from, so this is the one, I think, Marianne, you're going to be speaking on behalf of Karen, is that right?
Hi, this is me in my natural habitat. My hair's always funny on the Teams meetings. Must be funny in real life, but I never notice because I can't see myself. Through the chair, this is, has everyone had an opportunity to read the report and the policy? It's about, there's a number of properties, and it came through from some communities boards as well, particularly Eltham, wanting to know about different properties in the area. There's quite a lot of properties that council owns that aren't really any use to council, don't serve any purpose, aren't for the community, aren't, you know, there's no legislation around why we own them or any use for them. So we're looking at how we can dispose of those, but we want to have a proper process around that to make sure that we do it all correctly. So we have developed, and also the same with when we acquire property, that we make sure that it fits within, you know, there's a process that it goes through so we don't end up with lots of funny bits of property and we end up with property that is fit for purpose. So Karen's worked hard on this policy. It's been to the policy and strategy meeting, and they have asked us to bring it back to community boards and iwi liaison committee first for feedback. So that's what we are asking for from the community board.
Thanks, Marianne. Jacq, Dwyer, I'll just ask a question. Have you narrowed down, I think that was one of the questions they asked at the policy and strategy meeting, did you narrow down like how many Pātea properties will be affected, for example?
I can't tell you that right now, but there is, we will come, like that's the next step kind of thing to come back with after the policy is adopted. So we are at the moment putting together simultaneously with making the policy a list of properties that would probably fall under the policy. But when that happens, the process is that it comes back to elected members. So you'll get to see, you know, you'll get to see what those are.
It certainly looks well laid out to me. Have you got questions, anyone else here?
So
Just a
through the
comment.
chair, Marianne, oh, sorry, Rod, you go.
Sorry, I was just going to say that the team have been working pretty hard on this, and it's good policy because there's lots of bits and pieces around the district that need to be tidied up. So it's good that there's people working hard on this, and we can get to make decisions on them and make informed decisions on them going forward.
So, Marianne, through the chair, do you, when the properties, when you've identified them and you decide to dispose of them, do they go up? What happens? Do they go up? Like, do they go on the market to the public, or do they go back to the community? Because there's probably there's obviously a whole lot of different types of property. So, how does that? What do you do with them all?
Through the chair, thanks, Dianne. Yeah, that's if you have a look, have you got Diligent? If you look on page 60 of Diligent, you'll see, for example, the disposal process.
Okay.
So, like a stick, not a stick figure, what do you call it? Like a diagram. So if we say it's no longer required for existing use, for example, then we might have to decommission something, like if it's a water reservoir or something like that, it needs to be properly taken care of. So we've added that step in to make sure that when something is finished being used, that we do the process then to decommission any gear, equipment or buildings or anything, and reinstate the property to make sure it's safe. And then the property unit will take over. So that's the like the water team, if it was a water reservoir, would take care of that, and that would come out of their budget, that decommissioning and reinstatement. Then it's handed over to the property unit, and the ongoing costs come out of there. So they determine whether there's another council use for it. Like, does the council actually need that property to do something else? But and if not. So, and they talk to all the managers and stuff, and also elected representatives, which includes boards. If it is for council use, then we make a case for that. If it's not required, that's when we complete an assessment for disposal, and there's a whole lot of different things come into that. Like if it was a reserve, for example, you can't just dispose of a reserve. Or you can say we don't want the reserve anymore and it goes back to the government. But what is a better thing to do, what we would rather do in that situation, is take the reserve status from that reserve and apply it to a different area that we might think is better for a reserve. So you can swap reserve status sometimes from pieces of land if you make a case for that. So there's things like that we would do to make it so there's a whole lot of things like that, I guess, in answer to your question, Diana. If it's a stopped road, then we might just, sometimes stopped roads are just like on the corner of someone's land. If it was boundary, on the boundary of two owners, we would probably, and it made sense to offer it to both, we probably would, but we wouldn't sell it to a third party because that would be usually, unless it was a really big piece.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we kind of look at what makes sense as well. It's kind of a common sense approach, but otherwise that it's pretty much what it says in that diagram.
Thank you.
Jacq Dwyer. Marianne, can I just ask, it doesn't affect rates arrears properties, so does it, this type of acquisitions? No.
No, that goes through a completely separate process.
That's right, thank you. Brilliant report. I had a good read of it today.
That's Karen McCarlick, not me.
Very thorough, isn't she? It's great. Joe and Maria, any questions there?
Maria Ferris, just so are we providing any feedback as a collective, as a Pātea Community Board collective? Is that how you'd like it? Oh, thank you.
Do you want more time? Do you mean that if you could give us feedback now, that would be great, if you have some. If there's anything you think we've missed or would like to see in here. Because after this, it'll go to iwi Liaison Committee, then it will go back to Policy and Strategy. And one thing that came up at the Policy and Strategy meeting was including something up the front in the policy to talk about where all of the, what was the right word? It was the kind of the way that land was acquired in Taranaki and through confiscation, you know, and having a piece in there that makes that really clear about where, and then also in this diagram, having a bit where iwi is specifically consulted, and there was a couple of places where they asked for that as well. So that's some feedback that we've got.
Good. Okay. Well, it was Jacq Dwyer. As far as I can see, I think, you know, I can't see anything that stands out as being an issue. And that's great that you've still got a couple of steps just to go through still. So I'm happy. Is everyone else happy?
Dianne, yeah, I'm happy with it.
And
Maria,
Rob
Ferris.
and Joe.
Yep.
Yeah, all good.
Joanne
Thank
Peacock,
you.
yes, it looks fine to me, thanks.
So that's a big yes from all of us, Marianne. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll leave you to the rest of your meeting. Have fun.
Have a
Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye. Was Graham Campbell talking to us about that as well, or what was, he's gone now though, hasn't he? What was he here for?
So Jacq,
Vanessa?
Gordon was just there to back up Becky if there was any questions over the representation one. So that was all Gordon was. If there was any curly questions, Becky likes to pass them on to Gordon. So no, that was all with him.
Thank you. I didn't acknowledge him there on the actual report, but I'm sure Vanessa will make note of that. Thank you. So now we'll move on. Do we need to, we don't need to accept that report, do we, Vanessa? Because it's basically just a presentation. Is that right? Or
Can you hear me?
yes, I can. Yes.
Okay, sorry, I'm just having trouble with my mic unmuting. Through the chair, we do need to move and second accept the report because it is a report as opposed to just a open forum item.
Okay. So I'll move that Jacq Dwyer, I'll move that report be accepted. Seconded by
Rob Northcott, I'll second that.
Thank you. All in favour say aye individually. Jacq Dwyer.
Dianne Lance, aye.
Maria Ferris, aye.
Joanne Peacock, aye.
Rob Northcott, aye.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. So next is we've got items for action, and Janine quickly, but we can report quite happily on one of them.
Kia ora, Janine Maruera, through the chair. Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep. As we've heard, the directional sign is almost complete. The Freezing Works Memorial, we've had no movement on that since the last meeting. We're still just working through the design, and Ella has been assisting me with that. Kia ora.
Kia ora. Thank you. So now we'll move on to Ella's report, Community Development Manager, Ella Burrows. Just have a quick look through that and if there's anything we want to discuss in that. Things have been busy there. And we can actually report that the Manchester Street Park area, the picnic table has been made by Colin Schrader. So as soon as we're out of lockdown, we can actually get that picnic table installed. He'll have to get concrete organised so it can be set in concrete. And we had a look at it the other day, didn't we, Janine, and laid out where the 4 squares to go. And I'm thinking that maybe when we get the concrete for his table, we might be getting the concrete for the 4 square at the same time. We'll have to talk about that. Do you want to say anything about that, Janine, or?
Yes, through the chair, Janine. For the Foursquare, we've applied to 2 manawa funding for that project, so it may be done at a different time.
Okay. And then I'll just add that the walkway heritage signs are almost done. Colin's probably making the actual timber stands at the moment because he can't go out of his house. And then the actual signage will be glued onto them and they'll be installed along the walkway sometime soon. So that has happened as well. And the basketball hoop is installed. Weren't we lucky to get that done before lockdown? Not that anyone can use it now. Any other discussion on Ella's report? Okay, I'll move that be accepted. Seconded by, Jacq Dwyer moved. Seconded by
Dianne. I'll move it. I'll second it or whatever.
All in favour say aye individually. Jacq Dwyer.
Maria Ferris, aye.
Dianne Lance, aye.
Joanne Peacock, aye.
Thank you. Then we'll move on to Kath Sheard's report from the library. I haven't any issues there that anyone wants to talk about. Obviously, they're sadly closed at the moment.
Oh, through the chair, just a question. When what level of libraries are allowed to be open? Because I'm running out of books.
Maybe Phil can answer that for us.
2.
Oh, 2.
Oh, I'm not sure. I stand to be corrected.
Yeah, and I'm a little bit like Rob, Phil Nixon here. I had a feeling there was some contactless stuff done in 3 last time. No, we'll check up on that and get back to you, Dianne.
Thank you.
There was actually a couple of posts on the Waverley page advising people to go to their library for certain things, and someone did correct them on that. I think people assume the library's always going to be open, but it's not. No. Bill, you'll keep us updated with your videos. I like those, how you tell us what's happening on Facebook. So any other discussion about the library? So I'll move that report be accepted. Jacq Dwyer, seconded by
Dianne Lance, I'll second it.
all in favour say aye individually. Jacq Dwyer.
Rob Northcott, aye.
Aye. Dianne Lance.
Maria Ferris, aye.
Joanne Peacock, aye.
Thank you. Thank you. And now on to Liam's report. Thanks, Liam. Good to see you.
Afternoon, guys. Chair, do you want to move the report first, and then I'm happy to make some comments across the 2.
Okay, so I'll move that Liam's report be accepted. Seconded
Happy
by, thank you, Rob.
Rob Northcott.
Sorry, Jacq, can I just jump in there, Phil Nixon? Would you like to perhaps, if the mover, yourself and Rob are happy, Liam's going to cover off 2 reports, one for June or July. Your choice whether you want to do them separately or put them together with the motion.
Put them together?
Yeah.
If you want to do that, as long as you clarify that with your motion, just remove your motion, please, and Rob can second if he's happy.
Sure. So Jacq Dwyer, I'll move that Liam's reports from June and July, is that correct, Phil, are accepted?
Yes,
All
June and July are received.
June and July are received. Seconded by.
Yeah, happy to second that.
Thank you. All in favour say aye individually.
Dianne Lance, aye.
Jacq Dwyer, aye.
Sorry, Jacq,
Maruera,
you won't
Yes.
put the motion until Liam's had to talk to you and you have discussion on it, and then you can put the motion that everyone's happy to receive them.
Okay, great. Good. Thank you, Liam. Over to you.
Thank you, Chair. Afternoon, everyone. Just I guess a couple of quick comments across the top of both reports. I guess just to explain why there's two reports. Firstly, it's basically because one report's the last month of the financial year, being June, and then July's the start of a new reporting round. So although it's sort of a bit of a nuisance and what we've just experienced, having to move in second two reports, that's the reason why we've done it that way. I guess just in terms of the building and resource consent space, there's been a bit of a drop in building consent volumes where we've been sort of experiencing 70 consents a month. There's been a slight drop in that. It's given the team a little bit of time to regroup. I guess what's still interesting is that there's a good pulse of new housing coming through, and I think in the June report, we've got new housing in Pātea. I guess across both reports, we've got resource consent subdivision activity in places such as Pātea and Waverley, and I think we've commented previously that although Hara and Opunaki seem to have the highest sort of volumes of activity, there's a pretty good spread across the district at the moment, and we've seen that in the last couple of months. Probably, I guess just while we're still on building and resource consents, and thanks to Rob, just through Environment and Hearings Committee, just bringing this back on the radar. In the July report, we have Portland Quay and the Pātea Cool Stores back on our list of non-compliance or dangerous building notice activity. It's not in the June report, but it is in the July one, so that will be an ongoing item. And that probably ties in with any activity that happens in the Cool Store Memorial space. I guess we're cognizant of the fact that if we do start doing works around that area, we need to address some of the the issues down in that part of the world. The bad news item is the roaming and dog attack stats. Again, although Hara and Opunaki are high volume, there's a spread across the district. Pātea's experiencing a little bit of a spike at the moment. Although not reported in the papers, we've got pardon me, two prosecutions or two investigations underway, which are most likely going to lead to prosecutions. One in Pātea and one in Hara Urban. So yeah, I guess there's an ongoing issue there. Before we went into lockdown, we were about to have a bit of a sort of a summit with the compliance officers just to discuss, whether we need to change approach, resource up in other areas. So lockdowns happen, that conversation's been postponed somewhat, but we're looking to get back into that as soon as we come out of a high alert level and go from there. Because yeah, I think what's been demonstrated just with the year-end reporting for the last financial year and coming into the next one, we've still got some upward trends that we don't like and we're looking to address. Probably on a brighter note, and just to finish on, the Pātea planting project, the re-veg project's going really well. Rebecca Martin's been doing some great work in that space and her team. And also just around commercial composting and coming off the back of the environment sustainability strategy being adopted as part of the long-term plan, waste minimisation and options to get our organic waste down in particular has been a real focus of that team. And so I'm hoping to be able to get some sort of more positive reports in that space fairly soon. Happy to take questions, but that was just I guess a bit of a quick summary across the 2 months. Thanks, Chair.
Thanks, Liam. Great report. And the planting at the Pātea area is just wonderful. I've had a look at it already. They did it in record time. I think it only took them 2 days. There was a huge amount, 5,000 trees, and it was that horrible cold Monday they started. So it's really brilliant to see. Can you tell me a little more quickly about the composting? I don't know what you mean about that.
Through the chair, it's I guess coming off the midterm review of the waste minimisation plan report, we've identified that some of the indicators that we're lagging on is around our organic waste, and there's I guess a couple of avenues being pursued around how we address that, and one is looking at commercial composting. There's other issues or other proposals around biogas, and the list keeps growing. So Rebecca's coming back, doing some feasibility work, some business case work on that, and reporting back to the councils fairly shortly. I couldn't tell you what time frame it is. I think it's in the next between the next 4 to 8 weeks. There'll be some sort of feedback just on that work, and it's been commissioned across the 3 councils. They're all contributing to some feasibility work in that area. And that's sort of all I can sort of say at the moment. Sorry, Chair.
Thanks, Liam, from me, Jacq. That's great. Does anyone else want to ask him anything? No, thank you, Liam. Well explained. So now I'll move that be accepted. Is that correct, Vanessa? And so Jacq Dwyer, I'll move that for a seconder for that.
Through the chair, Jacq, you've already placed it on to be moved to be accepted. You can just now move to vote that it's done.
So I'll move that be accepted. All in favour, say aye.
Maria Ferris, aye.
Dianne Lance, aye.
Joanne Peacock, aye.
Rob, aye.
Jacq Dwyer, aye. Thank you. So now we move on to the just about there to the, gosh, what report are we on to now? It's just the facilities usages, isn't it?
That's
correct.
correct.
That's correct? Yes, okay. Any discussion about that? So I will move that the facilities usage report be accepted. Jacq Dwyer, and seconded by
Maria Ferris.
Thank you, Maria. All in favour say aye.
Rob Northcott, aye.
Dianne, aye.
Joanne Peacock, aye.
Maria Ferris, aye.
And Jacq Dwyer, aye. So now I think we've come to the end of our meeting.
Oh, I had to go and have a lie down. That was a bit quite hard.
It's a lot of concentrating, but we helped each other and we got through it. So thank you, everyone. You've been great, and I miss seeing you all face to face. It's a bit lonely here, but take care. We'll get through this.
Thank you. Thank you.
All the best.
Thanks, Jacq. Hey guys.
Bye.
Cheers.